Hello, everyone. My name is Deidre Muirhead, and I am the Community Health Education Manager at YWCA South Florida for the Family Wellness Program. We welcome you to Wellness Wednesdays, where we demystify health conditions that affect minority populations. I'm pleased to have with me today Ms. Jessica Alfonso from the University of Florida, and we will be learning about nutrition for today's health topic.
Thank
We're
you,
just
Deidre.
Good morning. Thank you.
Morning.
How are you, Jessica?
I'm doing well.
I'm
It's a
glad
great
to.
day. How
Yeah,
are
it is.
you?
I'm doing well as well. And I really appreciate you for joining me today to educate the community about nutrition. So we're going to jump right into it.
Let's do
Jessica, I know that you work at UF for the IFAS extension program. So tell me a little bit about that. What is the UF IFAS extension?
it. No problem. So, UF-IFAS extension. So we are basically an extension of the University of Florida. So University of Florida is in Gainesville, where we have a nice extension, a nice arm that branches off in Miami-Dade County. IFAS or IFAS stands for Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, which kind of gives a little bit of an insight of what the type of work we do. So we really strive to provide knowledge on agriculture, on human and natural resources, life sciences, and our overarching goal is to provide solutions to the community. So we really aim to provide nutrition education in my field, but lots of agricultural classes too. And so it's a really great program to service the community here in Miami-Dade as an extension of the University of Florida.
Okay. And tell me about the expanded food and nutrition education program.
Sure. So that is the program I oversee. So I am the UF-IFAS Extension efnep agent. And so efnep, or Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, is the nation's first nutrition education program for low-income populations. And we've really been around for quite some time. Since 1969, so a little over 50 years, University of Florida's efnep program has been working towards improving the community's nutrition well-being. It's an outreach program. It's a community outreach program that delivers free nutrition education. It's a series-based program, so we enlist participants and we see them over the course of several weeks, building upon the knowledge each and every class. And we work with community partners to enroll interested participants in Miami-Dade County. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a gist. And we focus on nutrition, like diet quality, how to move more, how to save money when you're food shopping, how to cook in a way that's safe for you and your family, and food security. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a taste of our program.
I love that. And I definitely want to plug that in right now. If any of our followers or anybody that is watching is interested in joining that program, you can either reach out to Jessica. Her information will be below, or myself, and we will get you connected. Okay, so what does a healthy diet look like?
Okay, so that's a loaded question, but the first word that comes to mind is balance. So I don't know if you've seen the Might Plate model or if your followers have seen the Might Plate model, but that's the first thing that really comes to mind. It's a visual representation of the dietary guidelines for Americans, and it showcases all of the food groups and how really our meals should aim to look like. So they should have fruits and veggies and grains and a dairy or a calcium-rich option and protein. But also, side note from balance, it's really enjoying food from each food group to provide your body the necessary nutrients it needs. Keyword, enjoying. So my nutrition philosophy is developing a positive relationship with food that is enjoyable, that includes your cultural foods, your traditions, your personal preferences, and including a variety of nutritious foods. So balance, but also the enjoyment of food. That really is what I think is encompassment of a healthy diet.
Okay. How many servings of fruit and vegetables are recommended per day?
Okay, so dietary guidelines suggest that for adults, in terms of vegetables, For women, it's anywhere between 2.5 to 3 cups. It depends on age. Same for men, it's depending on age, but 3 to 4 cups, so a little bit more for men.
Okay.
For fruits, it's a little bit less. It's anywhere between 1.5 cups to 2 cups for women and 2 to 2.5 cups for men. Something that gets a little bit tricky, what is a cup considered? So for veggies, a cup is considered either a cup of raw or cooked veggies, like let's say your broccoli,
Okay.
or 100% vegetable juice, or 2 cups of raw leafy greens, so like your spinach. So that all equates to a cup.
Okay.
For fruits, it's similar. So a cup can be considered a cup of fresh fruit, canned fruit, frozen fruit. All of it is nutritious. Or 100% fruit juice, a cup of 100% fruit juice. Or it could be a half cup of dried fruit. Like if you like dried mangoes or raisins, that's considered a cup equivalent. It's to get into the flow of it, myplate.gov is a really good resource, especially when you want to look for toddler, children, adolescent, or age-specific recommendations for each of the food groups.
Okay. And that's really good information to know. I like the fact that, especially for those who aren't big vegetable or fruit eaters, knowing that juice, 100% vegetable juice or fruit juice is an option, or the dried fruit is really good to know. Thank
Absolutely. You can get creative. You can make it your own, and like goes back to our question, right? Enjoy it. So.
I wanted to ask, is it necessary to count calories?
That's a very good question. So most people do not need to count calories. So little rundown on calories. Calories provides us energy to live out our day-to-day. It's very important to listen to our bodies. Our bodies will tell us when we need that energy. So really paying attention, being mindful with our body, recognizing when we're hungry, you're going to feel it in your belly, recognizing when you're full, that's going to help you gauge if you're having enough calories. Specific calorie needs has several factors. So sex, age, weight, activity level, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, all of those play a role in individualized calorie needs. If we're talking about generally speaking, adult women need anywhere between 1,600 to 2,000 calories per day. And adult men need a little bit more, so anywhere between 2,000 to 3,200 calories per day. I would say with an asterisk, it's really important to work with a registered dietitian to learn about your specific needs, especially when you have a medical condition or if you're pregnant and breastfeeding. Okay,
thank you. I know this is a big thing for a lot of people. Should someone avoid carbs?
Okay.
Is carbs a bad thing?
Carbs always get such a bad rep. So the short answer is no. No one food group or nutrient is the villain. Our body benefits from carbs. Carbs are the primary and preferred energy source. And very much like putting gas in a car, carbs are the fuel for our bodies. When we think about carbs overall, it's important to note that carbs are in different food groups. Carbs are in grains. So when we talk about grains, we're talking about popcorn, rice, oats, pasta, bread. Carbs are in fruits. Carbs are in vegetables, are in dairy. If we eliminate carbs, we're eliminating different food groups, which will result in eliminating so many nutrients that we need in our bodies. Our body needs that fuel, needs those nutrients to survive, for daily functions, for growth, to keep our organs functioning. So short answer is no.
Okay, that's good. And thank you for letting them know that carbs aren't in just bread and rice, that they're in all of our food groups. I wanted to also ask, so I know for a lot of women, when it comes to trying to lose weight, we always hear about detoxes. Is it healthy to do a detox?
So really, our bodies come equipped. It already comes included with a wonderful detoxification system. So most detoxification programs, like the things that are deemed as detoxes or cleanse, they aim to sell you a solution to something your body's already doing. And so often it's really lacking like evidence-based research behind the claim. So that can be really risky because it's sometimes uncertain what's in there, and sometimes it could be laxatives that are in there. So I also think it's important, maybe for your followers to kind of understand toxins a little bit better and the detoxification process. Maybe that'll help aid a little bit the confusion. So we have two groups of toxins. We have internal toxins and we have external toxins. Internal toxins is something that our body naturally creates during metabolism. And then we have external toxins, things that we eat, we drink, we breathe, things that get absorbed by the skin. So for example, like mercury in seafood, that's considered a toxin, or air pollution, that's considered a toxin. So we detoxify or we cleanse via urine, via sweat, via respiration, via feces. So we have our body's own internal detoxification. Now, the effectiveness of that detoxification varies by person due to lifestyle, due to diet, due to genetics. So there's ways that we can support our own body's detoxification system to maximize the effectiveness, right? So we drinking water is a huge one. Drinking enough water to help aid that process. Fruit and vegetable consumption is also very big to help in that process. Getting enough fiber, eating lean protein, and also including some healthy gut foods. So healthy gut foods include like yogurt or sauerkraut or kimchi. Those are different ways that we can support our body. And it goes back to that MyPlate model, right? Like making sure that we're getting all those different food groups so that we're helping our body do what it's meant to do. So helping our body serving ourselves food that helps serve our body.
Okay, thank you. I like that. Going back to what you said a little bit earlier, and when it comes to people trying to find a specific diet, they should really speak with a dietitian. Suppose someone is trying to get advice about about their eating habits. Who should they talk to? Would it be a dietitian?
So a dietitian is someone that's really going to be the expert in nutrition. So important to ask your primary care provider for a referral for a registered dietitian. It's important to note that a registered dietitian is not the same thing as a nutritionist. So to kind of aid that confusion, every registered dietitian is a nutritionist, but not every nutritionist is a registered dietitian. Registered dietitians go to school. They complete at least a minimum of a bachelor's degree in an accredited program. They complete 1,200 hours of supervised practice, and they pass a national examination. So they really are that expert in nutrition and really going to be in your corner. And it's going to have a lot of knowledge about like different medical conditions, how the body works, anatomy. So the term nutritionist doesn't have set criteria. So that's just something to be mindful of. You really want to seek advice from a registered dietitian.
Thank you. That was really good information. How many servings from each food group a day should someone have?
Okay, so we kind of covered fruits and veggies. So I'll focus in on grains, proteins, and dairy. Dairy's easy. Dairy for women and men, it's 3 cups for adults. So that's not too bad. Something to note about dairy is that maybe you don't like dairy, like cow milk. So you can have a plant-based milk, for example, or plant-based products. You want to make sure that it's fortified with calcium so that you're really supporting your bones. So fortified soy milk is a really great substitute. For protein, for women, it's anywhere between 5 to 8 ounce equivalents per day. For men, it's anywhere between 6 to 10. And really, when you eat grains, you want to make sure that you're aiming towards half of the grains that you eat be whole grains.
Okay.
And so MyPlate is really going to give you a little bit of once you have that plate memorized, you know that a quarter of your plate should be grains, and that'll help you achieve the servings that you should have a day. Protein, same. Protein is another quarter of the plate, so a quarter grains, a quarter protein, half of the plate being fruits and veggies, and then a serving of dairy. For protein, it's anywhere between 5 to 6.5 ounce equivalents for women, and 5.5 to 7 for men, so just a bit more. And really important to note that the goal is to consume lean proteins, and it can be from plant sources or it can be from animal sources. So you can vary up your protein to whatever you prefer. If you or maybe vegetarian, or you seek to eat more plant-based proteins. Tofu is a really great option, and so is tempeh. They're from soybeans, and they're very inexpensive protein. So something to consider even when saving money for the grocery store.
Okay, thank you. And since you did mention tofu and the soy products and the plant-based products, for those who might have allergies, I wanted to ask, what is the difference between a food allergy and food intolerance?
I love this question because it's so important. Understanding allergies is very important. It's very serious, and so it should be something that is taken not lightly. So food allergies are is a medical condition, and it affects about 32 million Americans. So it's a big medical condition. And it's when our body's immune system reacts to a substance in a food. So our bodies are trying to protect us, but what happens, they see this food substance as a threat, and the body overreacts a bit, and it sets off a chain reaction in our body. It can absolutely be life-threatening. So it's important that if you do have an allergy, to take it with extreme caution and to be very mindful of preparing foods in a way that's safe, or if you're eating outside, making sure that you're vocalizing that you do have an allergy. Like we talked about, soy is one of the most common allergens. So is milk, so is egg, so it's peanut, wheat, tree nut, seafood, shellfish, and sesame seed is also another common allergy. So a food intolerance, not the same as a food allergy. An intolerance happens when you're not able to digest a certain component of the food. If we think about lactose, like lactose intolerance, lactose is what is not able to be digested, and that's a sugar found in milk. So it has a lot of unpleasant symptoms, but it's not life-threatening like an allergy.
Okay.
Kind of a side-by-side comparison.
Thank you. That was really good. And just the example that you gave helps a lot about understanding what the difference is. How can someone eat healthy on a budget?
There are many ways. So especially now, food costs are definitely a concern for most people. So cooking home versus eating outside of the home. Not to say that you can never eat outside of the home, but being mindful of that cost. So cooking from home tends to save some money. Also, my favorite thing is I use the grocery store flyer, and I create a game plan based on that grocery store flyer. So every week, be it Aldi, be it Publix, be it Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas, wherever you buy your groceries, you can either look it up online, they upload it online on their websites, or you can pick it up from the grocery store. But I take that home and I look through it and I create a game plan based off of that. So the things that are on sale, the things that are buy one, get one, the in-season produce, and buying in-season produce saves a lot of money there. And then you can always buy it and freeze it and save it for a future time. So that's one of the biggest recommendations I can make. And something that many of us, including myself, can be guilty of is sticking to a grocery list. So if we go to a grocery store without a grocery list, we're kind of set up for a little bit of extra cost that we didn't plan for. We get excited and we start picking up things that we didn't really need. Also, taking inventory at home. What do you already have? So making a game plan, making a list, checking your inventory for things that you already have, so you don't duplicate purchases and spend more money than you need to. So those are some little tips of the trade.
Yes, thank you. I definitely have that habit of one, not making a list, and then maybe also duplicating, not checking before going.
Or going hungry. If you go to the grocery store hungry.
Right. That's the most terrible thing to do. But I also really appreciate that tip about using their food list, or I'm sorry, what did you call it?
The grocery store flyer.
The
Yeah.
flyer.
The weekly
I think
special.
that's really good. I haven't thought of that, but that is something to really think of. Like, go in there, grab that first, and then maybe make your list off of that based on the budget that you have. I love that. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, it's honestly my favorite way of doing it. And you don't even have to go inside. You can go on Aldi.com, Publix.com. It'll pop up the grocery store list. You don't even have to go there before. It takes some initial time in the beginning. Like, you do have to carve out some time and be intentional about, okay, let me sit down and look and review, but it'll pay off at the end. It's an investment that you make, a little bit of time, but result in a little bit saving of some money.
And we all love to save money.
We all love to save money.
Okay, and then my last question for you is, where can I find additional information or nutrition information and tips online?
Sure. So we touched upon myplate.gov. Myplate.gov for me is such a user-friendly website for the public. And you know that at least it's based off of the dietary guidelines for Americans. So it's really going to be your go-to website. Another website that has really great articles is eatright.org. And it's the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics website. So it's the same academy that accredits the registered dietitians. And there's a lot of great articles for families, a lot of great tips. So that's also a good site. But myplate.gov, I would say, is top tier when finding additional resources.
Okay. Thank you. Jessica, I really want to thank you again for joining me today to educate the community about nutrition. It is very important for not just us ourselves, but our future generations. So if you are interested in learning more about nutrition, again, please reach out to myself or Jessica. Our contact information will be below. Thank you. And this is Wellness Wednesdays. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.